welcome to our December videos, the final video for the year. And I'm very excited because just as the year is concluding, it's so coincidental that today we're going to talk about presentation conclusion. And in the last video we talked to you about the body of the presentation, and in the month of September we talked to you about the opening of a presentation. So in this month, I would like to help you wind down your presentation, especially the preparation stage. What should you be preparing at the preparation stage of your presentation, especially in the conclusion part? So there are just a couple of areas that I want to talk to you about here today, and that's only 4 areas. And when you move into your conclusion, it's very important, I stress again, it's very important for you to restate the 3 major points that you shared in the body of your presentation. Now, probably you're wondering, why do I need to restate the 3 major points? Because human beings tend to forget. Human beings tend to be distracted. And therefore, by you repeating the 3 major points, it will certainly help your audience to recall what we talked about in the presentation. And also remember that in last month, we talked about mini summary of a presentation. And in that mini summary, we stressed to you about how that recalls what we just shared on a very technical subject. Now, the restating the 3 major points, again, one more time goes around talking about the 3 major points that you talked in your presentation. Now, there's no way your audience could actually forget your presentation, or even forget you, or forget what to do after you have done your conclusion. The 3 major points needs to be restated, my dear friends, and by doing so, the audience will remember what you talked to them about during your presentation. Now, after you've done the 3 major points, do you still recall in our September video we talked about the opening of the presentation? We had the opening, the purpose, we had the objective. Now here we're going to talk about linking. The next step after 3 major points, you got to link your closing to the purpose of the presentation. Well, why are you doing this presentation? Again, you got to remind the audience, what is your role in doing this presentation, so that as you're winding down the presentation, once again they realize, okay, now I know why he's doing this presentation right now. It's a good wrap up. It's like a tie up to your opening of a presentation. Good presentation always links back to the purpose. So do not forget to link to the purpose of why you are doing this presentation. And the third one would be linking to the objectives. Do you recall when I shared with you, why do we have objectives in presentation? Can you tell me? That's right. Objective of a presentation shows the audience what their role is in the presentation. The purpose of the presentation shows what your role is in presentation. The objective of presentation reveals their role. So when you link back to the objective of the presentation, which you had already mentioned earlier in your presentation, your audience gets to remember again, now I know what I'm supposed to do. Right here in this presentation, I know what I'm supposed to do when I return to my workplace. So that's why linking to the objective of your presentation is very important. And what happens right after that? The last part would be call for action. And what's a call for action? We've heard this many times. Like I always mention, we are not celebrities. So when we are doing presentation at a workplace, we want our audience to do something. Either their bosses to approve a budget, a plan, their employees to follow a safety practice or quality standards. There's something that you want your audience to do after your presentation. Aren't I right? And therefore, you need to have a call for action. So a good example of a call to action would be, so my dear friends, having heard my presentation, I certainly hope when you go back to your department, you will follow the steps exactly as it is. And by doing so, I assure you, our quality standards are going to be improving by at least 35%. Now, my dear friends, that is an example of a call for action. You need to tell your audience at the end of the presentation what you want them to do. But I could read your mind. Some of you will be wondering, Michael, what if I do not need my audience to do anything? It's just a progress report. Fine. If you do not have a call for action, you're just telling them what you have done so far, it'll be quite interesting for you to share, or rather stress, what results have you achieved so far on the project that you're working on. And therefore, this would be a nice way to end your presentation, a positive note, if you will, that your presentation shows the results that you have achieved. Mike, what if I do not have results in my presentation? Okay, if you have no results to show, you have no call for actions to request from your audience, then the next thing you want to talk about, what are the expected results you're expected to receive in your next in your project that you're working on. So if you don't have current results, at least share what are the expected results in the coming months, in the coming quarter, and by that you keep your audience excited and look forward to your next presentation. Mike, what if I do not have expected results? Okay, no call for action, no results, no expected results. Take my suggestion, don't do a presentation. My dear friends, the very purpose you're doing a presentation is either you have a call for action, most importantly. If you do not have a call for action, share the results you've achieved. If you have no results, share the results you're going to achieve. If you do not have all these three, we need to go back to the drawing block. Alright, so I'd like to recap the 4 points I just shared with you just now. Number one, in conclusion, you got to restate your 3 major points to help your audience remember what you talked about in your presentation. Number two, you got to link back to the purpose. What is your role as a presenter in this presentation? What do you hope to achieve by you doing this presentation? Number three, what do you want your audience to be able to take away or to be able to understand or be able to do? And that is the linking back to the objectives of the presentation. And finally, the final pitch, the final opportunity you have to tell your audience what to do, and that is call for action. If you do not have a call for action, share the results you've achieved. If you do not have the current results, share with them the results you're going to achieve. And I assure you, if you do this, money back guarantee, your presentation preparation is going to be a super duper presentation, and I certainly look forward to even watching or observing your presentation if I ever have a chance. So all the best in this December video and also in your next presentation you're going to do. Feel free to drop an email to me at mikexv@vocalevo.com, or you may go directly to our website www.vocalevo.com. Click on email and just send us a message. Let us know how this video has been helpful to you, and all the best and have a great year ahead.